Hi, X-Men fans. It's, of course, D-Square here with another Hoxpox review, this time with House of X number 3. We are halfway through this Hoxpox story here with the sixth installment. I've obviously been enjoying this story so far. Hickman and the artist on these comics have just done a great job of immersing us in, giving us a lot of intrigue, a really good story with surprises and twists and turns, and it really gets us excited for what the X-Men books will look like here in the future. So this comic is definitely something that you should pick up today. It's not as it doesn't, I know I've said this with other reviews here, so some of these issues don't exactly have the weight. So I try not to discount the issue too much here because this really does do a good job of showing us kind of the next step in a couple of ways. Shows us something that, we were interested in seeing, at least I was interested in seeing. So what we see here is there's, of course, some good dialogue between Cyclops and Professor Xavier and Magneto because, as you recall, in the Powers of X number 2, that we see that there's this suicide mission where the mutants are going to go after the Orchis and the Mother Mole that is circling, the orbit of the sun. So we get to see that operation here. We get to see the start of it, the conversation that they have before the operation begins. We also get to see this cool trial of Sabretooth. As you remember, the Fantastic Four took Sabretooth in after he helped Toad and Mystique steal that information, the Soul's Hammer, which is referenced in this comic and somewhat of its importance. So we do see that he is on trial, and that's all I'm going to say about there, but you do get to see the trial resolved. It's really interesting how it is done, and again, just a hint, but not a spoiler, we do get to see the mutants kind of come from a position of power here, so that was absolutely interesting. And then going back to the assault on the Mother Mold, we do get to see that happen. And there is definitely a cliffhanger about that operation at the end of this issue. This issue, of course, does continue with the tradition of having the charts of information. So you do get a few of those here, and they are great. And you also, they have finally given us a cipher for the Krakoan language. I know that there's been some out there on the internet already, so the work has already been done. But just in case you didn't have it, it is in this issue. So now we can, if we haven't spent time or went on the internet to find the decipher, we can now use this issue to go back and decipher everything that was in the Krakoan language in those subsequent issues. So really cool. And that's one of my favorite things about this series is that every time you're reading a new issue, it gives you a reason to kind of go back and reference the other issues. The way that it's just piecing everything together, and it makes you think, let me go look at this real quick. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's just really cool. So, House of X number 3, midpoint of this saga, I'm giving it a 9.5 out of 10, which is great, is entertaining. We just don't have huge reveals like Moira is a mutant, and Moira was with Apocalypse in the Ninth Life, and they worked to get the information of when Nimrod would come online so that she could die and bring it to the 10th Life. We don't get those massive reveals. We do really just get a continuation of a couple storyline threads, which is much appreciated. Just doesn't give it that zing that I would need in order to give it a perfect score, but definitely one you should go out and buy. Alright, well, this has been my spoiler-free review. I'm sure you'll get more spoilery stuff here in this channel, of course, with Volsker and D-Square Talk Show, and as well as, since we are now in the middle of this storyline, I do definitely think I want to do a video and kind of give everyone a synopsis of where we are at halfway through this Hoxpox series. But until then, have a great day, peace and love, and we'll see you soon.